My mate, isn't you? Hiya, Rob here from DocWob, and this video we're going to show you the progress updates, if you like, on the bikes we're building for VMXdN Foxhill. We've got a bike for Mike Brown, Tommy Searle and Osborne on the bench at the moment. They've all moved on quite a bit since the last time we showed you. And this could well be the last update on these bikes until they're finished. So let me show you what we've got going on. So these are the Kawasaki's we've got built so far. This one's 2001 Mike Brown Pro Circuit replica or Pro Circuit bike. That one is 2001 Tommy Searle spare bike, practice bike. That's going to have the full Chevy Trucks graphics, which Tommy's getting delivered any day soon from his sponsor Backyard Designs. So as with any build, the forks are a big factor, big deal. So these are a kit fork, a Kayaba kit fork with the bell bottoms, gold nitrate tubes, billet triple clamps. But what's cool about these is the Enzo sub tanks. The Enzo sub tanks basically means you can run a higher oil level to stop the harsh bottoming, and the sub tanks take the air which you can adjust. These take a BF Goodrich hose, which we've got to get some shorter ones. Apparently that's -3, that size, who knew? So we've got to get some shorter hoses, and they sit behind the front number plate. The front number plate we're going to use in this bike's pretty cool as well. It's a cycra replica. You can't, back in the day we all used cycra vented front plates. They've stopped making them. I have tried so hard to find the molds, can't make them again. So we're remaking a similar looking thing. Because of the space with the sub tanks take up, we can't run the back piece, which is the air vent. So for this one we have made a carbon fibre piece, and so for this bike it doesn't have the proper back. On the race bike it will, because we're not going to run the sub tanks on the race bike. These are the Enzo sub tanks. They're not the actual ones we're using, we've got a spare set. So these high pressure hoses come out 90-degree bend into the top of the forks, clamp that holds onto the forks. They don't go anywhere. They're made out of carbon, very trick. These, however, are the factory KHI option. Now these would attach to the forks, and they would cut the bar pad for them to sit underneath the bar pad, one face in each direction. Very cool indeed. Then front number plate we're making. This is a Kawasaki front plate that we're cutting out trying to make it look like a cycra plate as best we can. So cutting that out isn't the easiest thing in the world. Finding this gauze with the correct hole pattern is really hard, but we found it. Because of the sub tanks, we're going to have to use a carbon fibre backing piece. So basically that sits on like that sits on like that, all gets riveted together and all looks very factory. The ones we're making will have this carbon piece that actually redirects the air, but for this, with the sub tanks, we haven't got space. So that's what we're making for this one, and obviously it uses a whole plethora of all the stuff we make, the power valve covers, the discs, not on this one actually got the disc. This is KXF wheels, so these don't have our discs on. But our brake carriers and our axle blocks and all our bolts and all our power valve covers and axle blocks and chain guides and the whole shebang. We use these guys to develop the products we make. So when we do sell them, we know they work and we know they're the right thing. So the motor. Motor's completely rebuilt. Tony rebuilt it. The cylinder's fresh back from the platers, so all new, brand new. Pro Circuit ported, Cerakote power valve covers, magnesium ignition and clutch covers, everything inside brand new as much as we can. Anything was anywhere gets replaced. New clutch basket, new rod, new mains, all genuine Kawasaki parts wherever we can. Obviously new gaskets and seals. The piston goes with the cylinder to be plated to make sure they get the correct tolerances. It's got to be 7 microns apparently. So motor's good to go, carb clean, vapor honed, everything ready to go. So subframe got rebuilt. Basically, Welder Martin has filled in any of the gaps, any cracks, any wear marks have been filled in, ground back again. Some of the riv nuts just get old and jaggly, so we've replaced those. This one hasn't been shortened, but we will shorten the race bike by 5mm on the bottom, dropping the back end. He likes to be on the power going down the hills, and it means he can get his ball bag right back here. We won't shorten them both in case he decides he doesn't like it, then at least we can go back and change it back to stock. Swing arm's been all prepped, brace pieces welded in, brace piece welded in. This is our own KHI replica chain guide, Hahn hub, DID rim, as I showed you last episode, our own oversized disc with the 240 disc, Denton billet linkage, every bearing, every seal brand new. We couldn't make them any nicer. So, right hand side of the motor, this is our own case guard we make, weld the lugs on the frame. Magnesium outer case. One thing we are going to change, we're going to get rid of this sight glass and make an aluminium plug, just like the factory bike. Mag case, these are all blasted, real heavy, and then Cerakote to make look like factory. This is our own billet power valve cover because the standard ones are plastic and every man and his dog's over tightened them from brand new. Our own titanium bolts, and on the clutch and ignition covers we replicated the KHI crosshead screws. These look really cool. So now we've just got to sort the kickstart out and get the Pro Circuit pipe when it comes, and we'll be somewhere near finished. So at the moment we just got Tone building the shock for the Mike Brown race bike. This is the spare bike, so we've already done that one. So basically what we're doing is just measuring the shims. We've got a shim stack setting, which we're going to put into this shock, rebuild it all, everything's coated, plated, all new seals, bushes, whatever. Shims basically is a lever. It's basic hydraulics. It's really not that. People will tell you shock stuff's like some dark art, and it's just hydraulics. So the shims, the bigger the shim, the fluid passes through it and bends it up, okay? Bigger the shim, easier it bends. Thinner the shim, easier it bends. You've basically got 1 shim for every inch of travel. So if you've got a problem in the mid-stroke, you need to mess with the shims 3 to 6. It's really not that hard. And if it's harsh, make it a bit softer. The mistake a lot of people make is they take shims out and don't make it any softer. It's basically shortening a lever. And by shortening a lever, makes it harder. So shim removal ain't the way to go. Thinner, bigger diameter shims, softer. Thicker, shorter diameter shims, harder. That's it. So I wouldn't recommend you mess with it, but it ain't that hard. So Tone, show them what you're doing. So basically, it's got to measure the diameter of the shim and then the thickness of the shim and make sure that it's not damaged. You're better off to put new ones in, if I'm honest. Because after they've been bent 1,000 times, that's the shape they want to be in. So just measure them up. You get a shim setting. Luckily, we've got a good setting from one of the suspension companies we deal with, so we know what we're doing. And then it just get rebuilt. We use all genuine KYB, seal blocks, bump stops. Everything else gets plated and rejuvenated, looks pretty. We use the Enzo DRC tools, which you can't do this job without, if the truth be known. And it's a big part of the build, but you just got to take your time, make sure everything's meticulously clean, and crack on. So this is the 2002 YZ250 we're building for Zach Osborne. It's pretty much the same as the YZ250s we built for Ryan Villapoto and Mike Brown for the 22 event. Slight few differences, like this year we've gone for black nitrate fork tubes, same Enzo kit forks, same billet feet, SM Pro billet hubs, again billet triple clamps, applied racing ones. Steering damper, same thing, slightly different bars because of the Yamaha Troy colourway we're going to go this year. So we've got twin wheel Renthals in blue, and again Renthal sprocket in blue, Renthal chain, again back end Michelin star cross 6 tyres, we'll run mooses on. Motor's completely rebuilt, even plated the studs, new crank, new rod, new, everything in. Clutch ignition covers made out of mag, Cerakote this. We got a nice new kick gear lever we just made to put on one of these. Cylinder is en route back from Twisted Development in California, who one of Zach's sponsors. So they've tuned the cylinder. Pipe's going to be a works finish FMF pipe, so that's slightly different. So we'll have to spend a bit of time getting set up, but we've got a good base setting. This one's good to go, really. It'll have a Brembo front disc on. That's a standard Yamaha disc at the moment, but we're going to run a Brembo. It's got the oversized brakes on, our own chain guide, polished swing arm, dent and linkage, lowered subframe, aluminium tank with the vents in, flush fit gas cap, with our own 3D printed opener, Bentley blue frame, Bentley blue tank, all the original plastics. We don't do the restyle thing for this event. It's not the way to go. Should be banned. Bigger brakes, everything good to go. I mean, not a million miles away from what we built last year. So that's it for this video. That's the updates we've got on the bike so far for VMXdN Foxhill. Hopefully next video, the one after, we'll show you Tommy riding his spare bike, starting to get some settings, starting to get him used to riding a 2-stroke. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the videos. Any comments, if you've got any ideas of stuff you want us to show you, stuff you want us to do, just ask the question, we'll do the best we can. Any products you see that we do make, just DocWob.com, you can find everything on there. If not, just shoot us a message, shoot us an email. We're not hard to get hold of. The event's selling out pretty quick. Trade stands are sold out, sponsors are full, camping's getting really full. So we would advise pre-booking tickets, otherwise you may be disappointed. Just a heads up, it's getting full. So we'll see you all there in August. It's going to be a big event, it's going to be a big do. We're 80% up on ticket sales at this point than we were this time last year. So we want 30,000 there if we can, just like the old days.